Yo, welcome back. Today we are going to be fixing the Cardputer ADV, well, more specifically the Caplora. If you got one of these, you may have realized that the SMA on the Caplora is actually an RP SMA. And what that means is that there is a center pin on the female side here. That's kind of cumbersome because that means that your antenna selection is going to be limited to antennas that look like this compared to antennas that look like this. You can see that there. So this is a 915 megahertz antenna. I will put a link for these in the description below for these. These are on Amazon, as well as whatever else you may need to fix the Caplora. Now, I hope that in later revisions of the Caplora from M5 stack that they get rid of the RP SMA port there and they actually go with a standard SMA attachment. That way you can use whatever antennas you currently have for 915, Wi-Fi, whatever it's going to be. So these are what you're going to be needing right there. That little guy right there compared to the one that we showed you just like that. To do this, we are going to need a few tools and some basic soldering skills. So let's just get this guy apart. We're going to use a knife here. I recommend a plastic plunger or something to get this guy off. But I already took mine apart, so I'm just going to go ahead and use a knife to do this. And it's just going to be popping off these little side tabs there and right there. There's 4 of them. And all you're doing is just gently prying them up and then down. That way it's going to release the tab and indentation from the board. Right here is the SMA, and that is the area that we will be unsoldering. And then we also will need a, looks like a small Allen. Here we're going to be able to look at the little SMA there, and I hope that these that I have on hand are going to fit that. So you can see here that we will be removing that little SMA or RP SMA right there. We're going to be using the hot workstation to do so. We're just going to go nice and slow. I will put a link in the description below for the appropriate SMA connection that you will need. There's different types, like this is a 90-degree one, for instance, like that. This one, you can see here on the sides, they are kind of offset, and then this guy right here is going to be the appropriate one you're going to need to be able to fit back into those holes. Yeah, we're going to get to this. So like I said, using the hot workstation here, we're just going to start heating up this solder, and I'm going to use a little bit of solder wick to kind of soak up as much of this extra solder as I can. All right, so we got that guy off. Now I'm just going to go back and clean up the solder here. And then next thing that we're going to do is going to heat up the back side right where we took that RP SMA off. And we're going to heat it back up and get ready to put on our other one. All right, once we got that seated, we're going to give it a little blow to kind of cool off before we go back and solder on the actual pins back to the pad. I ended up having to go up to about 750 degrees. Just those solder joints on this kind of stuff are a little bit tough. You could do it with the soldering iron probably, but I think a hot workstation is going to be your best bet to do this. And then I'm going to grab the soldering iron here in a second, and then I'm going to go and re-solder on these bottom pins right here. I'm using the Pine 64 Pine Sill. There we go. I like that. All right, got that soldered on. You can see my job right there. Now I'm just going to go ahead and chop up these little ends right here. Just going to trim them back a tad bit because they are kind of long. I'm just going to use this pair of, I got this pair of crescent little dikes or side cutters. I can put back together the LoRa cap or Caplora. Put back on that little bottom cap. And there we have it. We have now added on the appropriate SMA to the Caplora from M5 stack. and that's going to allow us to put on a regular 915 antenna. And that way you can put on any other kind of antennas that you want to, whether that's going to be like this little flexi one, if you want to do a telescopic, if you want to do kind of like one of these like this, you can. So that is going to help out a bunch, I believe. There we have it. From there, we can pop on our little hat. And that is how you put on an SMA female onto your Caplora from M5 Stack. That way, again, you can put on whatever kind of actual antenna that you want, and not the one that comes with the actual M5 Stack. It's a decent antenna, but you may want to get more range off your antenna. So this is going to be the great, this will be kind of the ideal DIY fix for you guys out there that have this. If not, then you got to get an adapter from RP SMA to female SMA. And that'll add some kind of weird bulk and stuff. But again, I'll put a link in the description below for the appropriate SMA connectors that you may need for the Caplora if you want to do this yourself. A soldering iron can be used. You'll need to get to at least 700-ish degrees Fahrenheit to kind of melt those solder joints. They are hard to melt. So a hot air workstation is going to be great too. I will put a link for the one that I have. And they're kind of great to have around for any kind of solder projects and any kind of DIY stuff like that as well. So, and then of course I'll put a link for the tools that I use in this video, like these little crescent side cutters and little mini needle nose pliers. They're great to have as well. Today's sponsor is PCBWay. So if you guys do not know who PCBWay is, they make and develop some amazing PCB projects. They have a great shared area as well. This is their 8th year of doing the shared project competition. I'll put a link in the description below as well, and then a link to save some dollars off your first order from PCBWay. They do CNC services, 3D printing services, sheet metal services, and of course PCB design. So definitely check them out. They have been a great sponsor for the channel for quite some time now. I really appreciate their team and all that they have done to offer this community. It's pretty incredible. So thank you, PCBWay, for all your support throughout this time. And if you guys have any questions regarding anything that you see here or that we covered today, feel free to comment down below or join my Discord. There's an awesome growing community there and a lot of really knowledgeable people to help us out to kind of do all sorts of fun projects like this. Don't forget to like, subscribe to that fun stuff, and I will see you guys in the next video.